Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So if you were chronically online in 2022, you remember the Try Guys scandal. So the Try Guys were this group of entertainers who started on BuzzFeed and then branched out to make their own successful company and YouTube channel. Now, among those four guys, everyone had their own little personality and niche, and Ned's was being the wife guy.
My wife.
So everyone was completely shocked when, in 2022, it came out that he cheated on his wife Ariel with one of his producers, Alex, as photos of them began leaking online. After photos started leaking, the Try Guys silently began an investigation into this, as Ned was one of the founders. So not only was this a marriage scandal, it was also a massive HR violation. Eventually, the guys came online and in this extremely viral video distanced themselves from Ned and his actions and basically parted ways. They continued their company in a new direction and fans supported them because of the way that they handled the situation. Meanwhile, Ned just disappeared. And now, well, he is back. He recently came out with a podcast titled Rock Bottom with Ned Fulmer, where he wants to interview other people who have hit rock bottom and discuss how they got out of it. The first episode is with Ariel, his wife, so let's get into it. He immediately starts with this message before the actual podcast saying,
3 years ago, I cheated on my wife with my producer. It became a massive public scandal that caused a lot of pain to a lot of people. I know that I represented myself as a kind of wife guy, and you, as a viewer, I know that I broke your trust. I betrayed my spouse, co-workers, friends, family, and I betrayed you.
He goes on to talk about how it wasn't just cheating, but Alex was engaged and she was his subordinate, so it was an understandably messy and devastating situation for everyone involved.
I can't change the past. I can own it and accept it and try to change how I show up differently in the future. I wanted to say that I'm sorry.
He talks about how hard it was to have this painful conversation with Ariel, but he wanted to release it publicly because the conversation is necessary for her to move forward, and he's grateful for the chance to be a part of it.
That something so private and painful became such a public spectacle. I get why people were so outraged, and I understand that that is the reason that she can't move forward with any sort of public thing without addressing this. So this is that. This is a conversation where we answer your questions. We share what we've been up to these last 3 years and what you can expect from us moving forward.
So now let's get into the podcast. Immediately they start by saying,
Back again. It feels weird. It feels a little awkward.
Yeah. Back in a podcasting room.
Yeah.
I mean, we've certainly had a lot of conversations where we've sat like this.
Yeah, that's true.
But not, conversations that are meant for the public.
Ariel jokes that she kind of wants to run away and leave right now because they've been keeping their life super private and they've been hiding from the world. Ariel has been enjoying being out of the spotlight, and although that they have stepped back from the limelight, people keep coming up to them and recognizing them. So Ariel opens up about her reputation being stuck in 2022.
Like, publicly reestablish the context of who we are, how we relate to each other after being so public with our relationship before.
Ariel talks about how going completely dark and hiding behind the scandal just felt like the best thing to do at the time, but now she feels like she's just stuck behind it. Even when she's out with her kids or going out to dinner, the only thing people see is their scandal. She then talks about how she just wants to be friends with other moms who go to school with their kids and doesn't want to lead every conversation with, my life is a dumpster fire, but I want to be friends. Ned jokes about when he makes friends, he's like, okay, but don't Google me. He doesn't want to be represented by his mistakes, but it's been complicated for both of them. He describes them as, quote, still friends, and addresses the relationship status. And he went on to say,
Right.
Like, there's a spectrum of being together, not together.
Right.
Like, there's ways in which we're together, but it's like the way that everyone wants to know, like, are you guys still like an item? Are you guys still a couple? Like, no. We really haven't been at all this last 3 years.
No, like, people ask me, like, do you forgive Ned for what he did? And I mean, the answer is no, absolutely not. How can you forgive somebody for lying to you, for cheating on you? No, fuck no. Like, sorry, I saw red for a minute. It's like, no, the answer is no. But also I feel like forgiveness isn't the goal at this point.
Which, can I just say, I am so happy to hear she went on to talk about the fact that they have a co-parenting relationship and they worked through their issues so they can healthily parent their kids. They said therapy helped her even be able to be around him and have a good time and feel joy around their children. It took a massive amount of work to get there. And the relationship now is more like a platonic friendship, and they're able to celebrate their relationship. Even though it's hard for Ned to hear, Ariel is still angry at him.
Like, yeah, of course I'm still angry. We lost a lot. There was a lot that happened 3 years ago. I mean, I found out about your affair from the fans. I mean, and I was so blindsided that somebody sent me a picture, and I couldn't. It was like my brain couldn't compute.
She said that she watched all the pieces fall out of place, and slowly she realized everything is so public. She says, you don't realize it, but everyone is taking pictures of you, and everyone is following what you do everywhere you go. It makes you realize every time you leave your house, you're not safe from the public eye. After the whole experience, she felt that she couldn't trust the public, her friends, Ned, of course, and she isolated herself a lot. And it took a long time for her to get back to herself. Ned asks her how it being such a public scandal impacted her, and she talks about the trauma of discovering everything you know isn't real, especially because she discovered all of this through the fans, not Ned himself or anyone else in her personal life. She says the other part of being in the public eye and being watched by cameras just makes it worse. They were public figures, but the extent that cameras were outside their house at all times, it was pretty hard. She tells a story surrounding this public video of them that went viral. So basically, they were going to couples therapy, and they just had their little snacks, having a normal day, and they experienced someone following them all the way from their house to the therapist's office. The car had a camera, and they started taking photos of them. And when they came out of therapy, there were so many people outside. And her reaction was just smile because she didn't know what to do with her face and her expression. And then this video went viral and everyone was like, oh, they're getting back together. She talks about a specific time where she felt the shift in the relationship. She mistook the photo of him being caught with Alex in New York with him being with his sister.
I remember we were in New York, and you were just picking me up from the airport. And I was so like naively. So you were driving a rental, and I just naively looked over to you in the driver's seat, and I was like, why was Grace in New York? Like, I didn't realize Grace was in New York. Why was she, referring to that picture that I had sent to you? And you looked over at me with this look on your face, and it was like the veil just fell, like this. Like I knew in my brain that something was going on, but I just sort of refused to believe it. And then when I saw that, like, just wildly guilty look on your face, like you wanted to tell me something, and I didn't even let you say anything. I was like, turn this car around.
And then she asks Ned if he remembers it that way, and he said not exactly, but it didn't matter how he remembers it. He just said that she asked him a few more questions, and based on his answers, she kind of realized that he was lying, and he realized he was caught.
There was a lot of sort of delusions and rationalizations that you, as the person doing that, sort of are telling yourself as to why why it's not so bad, or why it's going to be okay, or why actually this talks about it in this way. And then it's like, I remember that moment, it all just kind of like fell down, where I totally could see how devastated and just completely traumatized you were. And then it was just like, oh, everything changed for me as well. I'm like, oh no, this is like, I've been hurting this person that I love.
Then Ariel responds,
You didn't realize until then.
Well, but then there's other things you tell yourself to kind of sort of compartmentalize, or I guess.
And when I tell you that silence between them was so awkward, but I feel her, like, what does he mean he realized that when he got caught? Ariel talks about how she has talked to other betrayed partners over the years, and she has heard about this kind of sense of relief that comes with the person betraying their partner, releasing their shame.
Suddenly, something that like you had, that, and it, like the wild thing is that this was something that you had done.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had no part in this. This was not like, you could even say that you had done this to me, like I was the victim of this situation. And yet when you told me, I had to like accept your guilt and your shame. And in our like society where couples are, especially married couples, when men have affairs, women are often looked at as like, well, what did you do wrong? And it's so hard to get out from under that. Of like, well, what did you do to make him look elsewhere?
She says she remembers every time before the affair as a fantasy world. She thought they had this love story that transcended the norm, but it was all just a fantasy. She trusted him so completely. They got married when they were in their early 20s. She says they grew up together as a single couple and spent all of these years building a family, a career, and more. And then he shattered all of that. That really ruined the fantasy.
I just think, how could you do that to me? Like, who are you?
I'm so sorry.
Like, we had so much. There was so much.
The loss of that dream that we both had. It felt like that in that time period for me too.
What happened?
The dream started to break apart for me, and then rather than being able to talk about it or to confront those feelings, feelings I was experiencing in a way that was really self-destructive and hurtful to you. And it wasn't like anything you did or like we had a bad marriage. It was about me and choices that I made and just actions that I took that I'll always regret. I'll always regret how much pain I caused you and other people, and I'm deeply, deeply sorry.
He talks about how he hopes to keep changing so that his kids can have a father that they look up to. And he accepts all the blame. He knows he shattered their marriage with the choices and the decisions that he made. And she asks him where they go from here. And they want to continue as co-parents and as friends. She has made new friends and cherished her relationships, which did something happen with the other partners of the Try Guys? Ariel used to be on a podcast with Becky, Keith's wife, Maggie, Zach's wife, and Matt, Eugene's partner, and I feel like she was kind of being shady about her real friends and how she discovered who they were through this situation. So let's put a pin on that. They basically talked about how being in a group of non-chronically online people and parents helped her feel more grounded because they didn't really care about the scandal and made her feel normal about everything. She realized that she can live in a world where they have moved on. And they talk about how they're about to go on a family trip and they're still co-parents at the end of the day. He understands the full gravity of what he did, but they both just want the chance to move forward. And while they are trying, what he did to her was so devastating, and they are just trying their best. She says that she has some days where she hates his guts and other days that she enjoys his company. Sometimes she feels the loss of their marriage, and other days she feels gratitude for where they are now. And they both love their kids and think that they are worth every cent they spent on therapy. He talks about how he was kind of a caricature on the Try Guys because there's a layer of performance that came with it. And he felt like he created this character of the family-oriented one, and he understands why that led to his downfall. And now he wants to be a vehicle for other people's stories instead of focusing on his own. And he wants to talk about other people and to not let people too into their own life. He doesn't want to make his life his brand. She said that she won't be returning to her old podcast. They are both open to dating new people, and she has gone back to pottery and she's starting up her own business. She will try her best not to be a public person. She isn't interested in being an internet persona or anything like that. I'm kind of shocked that he didn't talk about the guys or how his relationship with them is or how it was impacted. I wonder if he ever will. Maybe he's saving that information for future episodes. I don't know. So will you guys be watching his podcast and the episodes moving forward? Would you guys support Ariel and her pottery business? Are you guys shocked that Ariel left him, or are you happy for her? How do you guys feel about this whole conversation? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, feel free to leave this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new tea spills from us. And for now, bye bye.